Yeah, so that was it was a really good move into PDL. I was definitely happy with that move, and then I started. I don't know. I'm sure this. I mean, it happens to everybody, but I then was like, I'm sure you guys remember, but this thing was really selling off like really fast. So I was looking for another move, down to, let me see here. Oh, 455. I think it was. Yes, it was it. Four. I'm sorry, 545. Right. There was a very large gap down there on the daily time frame. Right. Let me whip out the daily and show. So this has happened to me before. I'm actually glad that I'm bringing it up here. Um, what do we do when we get so obsessed with a trade plan, right? Let's talk about it, because in this trade, I wanted to target this gap fill extremely bad, right? I was looking at the daily time frame. I'm like, we got a really nice retest here of the 9 DEMA. We're selling off. At this point, we were below previous day low. So now I'm looking for a move into 5449, right? Notice, look at the bounce there on the daily too with the 50 EMA, bro. Perfect bounce right there off the 50 on the daily.
Love to see it.
Yeah, insane. And like it's crazy because I was watching that happen and I was still like, nah, it's gonna go down. It's gonna fill the gap, right? So it's got to. I thought of it. I'm always right, whatever. It's going to fill it, right? So now I'm like, okay, how can I get in this short, right? I wanted to see the pullback into the cloud and into the 1 hour 9, and we got it, right? Let me see. Look, it was definitely a really tough play. Check this out. Look at the pullback. There's a couple things I noticed, though, and chose not to listen to, right? Notice here how the 1 hour 9 is above this level, this 548 level. So for us to touch that 9, we were actually breaking bearish structure, right? So we're below this level right here. Bearish structure's forming. So now we don't necessarily want to see price get above this purple line here, right? Like if it's clean bearish structure, I really don't want to see price get back above that. And look how high the 9 was, right? We were literally, very extended at this point. So I kind of married the idea of shorts here, and price rips back up into the level. I go short, and then the snapback ended up happening, pulling price right back up. Did good stomping out here, which initially I was really pumped with, and I went short right here at around 54786 and stopped out at 54750, I think. So didn't get killed on it. It was actually, let me show you, on the 2-minute, it was very easy to see that I don't want to say easy, but it was very like noticeable that the conditions were shifting, right? I went short on this guy right here. We came up, retested, I went short. And then look at this. Hold on. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me just do this. Click. Okay. So notice here, when I get into a short play, and we break the previous low, I don't want to see that green candle. That right?
Yep.
I do.
Failed low of day.
Yes. Immediately, right? Like, hopped in short, boom, we break low of day, and then buyers just soak it up. Once I seen that, I'm like, okay, I need to get out of here. On this candle, I ended up getting stopped out. I kept my stop right, tried to keep it as close to entry as possible. So it was a really good opportunity to be wrong. You know what I'm saying? All too often that becomes kind of hard. So took that one right on the chin and ended up walking away from the market. Got a really nice move there off PDL. I think what level? Off this 50. Really nice move up. I had nothing to do with it. And then price sold off right here. I was getting ready to take another short play, but we couldn't break the previous candle. So I stayed away from it.
Josh, I'm stepping out for just a second.
Yeah, go ahead. But yeah, so that was Thursday. And then we're gonna whip into Friday. Friday was a really good way to end the week. Really good way to end the week. I want to break this down if I could fix my TOS here. So we're gonna go back to that 1 hour time frame, and the pre-market plan this day was basically I was watching. Hold on, let me fix this. This is PDL. Let me go here. Boom. Boom. Previous day lows right there. 5449, right? That was my bearish target to the downside. And then I had another bearish target. Where was it? Right here. Okay. Duplicate. Bam. All right, so basic.
Friday yet?
Yeah, Friday. Just starting it right now.
All right.
All right, so we had another retest of that 1 hour 50, right? There was a couple of things I was watching this day that really helped me. The number one was this level right here. Wednesday's end of day. This was a very important level to me because it lined up exactly with end of day. Well, pretty close. Wait, no it didn't. But it created a little sweet spot. Right, so you can see the bottom of this zone is end of day and the top is previous end of day. So we have this little sweet spot right here, and it lined up really well with the 1 hour 50. So, you know, I remember going through this on the live, and I'm like, whatever happens here is going to paint the picture for the day. You know, and I was specifically like, you know, this isn't the sort of thing where you see a 2-minute chart pattern and trade, right? You let the story unfold here, right? You be patient. Also notice right here in the morning, I was getting ready for longs, but we were very far away from my 9D EMA on the 1 hour, right? We were opening up pretty significantly away from it, about $3.50. So I didn't really feel that comfortable going long into 552.16. That was my upside target. So instead, I would remain patient, right? We were very patient. We had the 2-minute out. And we were watching price, and so, you know, we get that nice little candle right there. Let me get rid of this. That open candle, that green candle. We come down, we retest end of day, and then this candle comes in, right? Respecting the top of that zone, which was that level we were watching, and sellers start to come in. Boom. Then we invalidate open print. We come into the 2-minute 50. Right, so I'm still just sitting on my hands, and now I'm going, okay, right, sellers are showing some strength, but if buyers take this back, you know, that could possibly be the liquidity grab for the move to the upside. But I was looking for a lower high, right? I was like, okay, let's see what happens. We come up, we test, end of day, and then sellers lose it. Boom. So now we got our lower high, right? We got our high here, we got our lower high, and now we're closing below the 50, right? It's definitely a sign of weakness. I got my eye on PDL, pre-market low, and 5449, right? It's my downside targets. So at this point, I'm now bearish, right? Due to the 1 hour time frame, due to the critical levels being respected the way that they were by sellers, right? I'm now bearish. So now I'm looking for an entry, right? Now, for me to enter, especially in these conditions, I got to be able to manage risk, right? And I was really close to entering short off this end of day move. It just kind of got away from me. And I wanted that green bar ignored, right? It's, you know, the green bar ignored really helps me manage my trade. It gives me that, like, that conviction to stay in it, right? Because if I enter on a trade on a candle like this, I might feel as if I'm not sticking to plan, and I might stomp out when I shouldn't have. I just was really set on the GBI this day. So we get our first GBI here, and then this guy pops up. And I was like, okay, you know what? I was like, if sellers can wipe out the bottom of this, I'm going to take the market short. The chart literally looked just like this. And I'm like, dude, PDL's there, Josh. What do you mean? You can't short into PDL. What are you, crazy? And I was like, bro, it's weak. Buyers are weak here. I'm like, look at the critical levels. Look at open print. Look at end of day. And what really gave me the confidence to do this was the 1 hour, right? That 1 hour 50 retest was like how it rejected the 50 there. It brought me back to what we were talking about in part 1 here of what's the highest probability move to happen, right? If the 1 hour looks like this, yeah, the rest of the day could turn into chop, of course. But if price action's gonna abide to the fact that there's an 88% chance of a market imbalance happening today, right? Which way would you go? Right? Like that's how I really wanted to look at it. I was like, listen, what has the highest probability of happening if we go down? And I was like 5449, right? So I entered short. I put my stop above. We got in short right here at 54727, right? That was like my, I got in short. My stop was above the candle right here. So we drew the box, and I'm like, okay, if price can respect this, I'll stay in the trade. And then it did. It started to sell off, came up, tested it. This right here would have been a perfect place to add into your position. Either there or this one would be even better, like right here or right here maybe. But I didn't. I was just trading one. Contracts were extremely high this day. I literally bought my SPX contract for $1,200, right? So it was like contracts were expensive at the money, not even in the money. But yeah, we caught a beautiful move down here to 545. It took about 17 minutes, or at least that's how long the live was. I was really proud of this trade. It was a one and done. It was almost over. It was over 100%. Right around the time when I sold it. So it was a phenomenal trade. I could have held it longer for sure. But I had to, go get my hair cut. I had stuff to do, so I was completely okay with just accepting the win and stepping away. So it was a really good trade, though. I was really proud of this trade.
That's a moneymaker right there,
Yeah.
right off the cloud.
Yeah, look at that. Boom. Like there was a part of me telling me it was too extended. You could always find a reason why not to, right? And I was just like, dude, is this your criteria? Yeah, it is. I was like, okay, then short it. But yeah, that was it. That was my last trade for the week, and we shut the books on that one. That trade really helped me get green for the week. And I heard this saying, it's not if you're right or wrong, it's how much money you make when you're right, and how much money you lose when you're wrong. Right? I think that's really important. These conditions are really hard. It'll be asking you to gather more evidence, look for the perfect trade, look for this, look for that, right? And I advise you to bring it back to the basics, right? Me and Darren were talking about, setting goals for this week. One of my goals are becoming extremely intentional on the trades I take and why I'm taking them. If it's using a GBI, then it must be present. If it's using the moving averages, then get really good at understanding what they need to look like. If it's trading off critical level, it's entering it at a critical level and targeting the next, right? Like whatever it is, be real intentional with it and figure out what behaviors are serving you and which ones aren't. Is trading before an appointment serving me? Did it serve me last week? Absolutely not. So this week, one of my goals is, obviously not trading for for little things, but like if there's something important, I'm not going to be trading, stuff like that. So how about you, Debo?
Yeah, I wrote down two main goals for this week. So the number one thing that I struggled with last week was trading against the green and red cloud. I did it twice last week. It's been a really long time since I fought the cloud, and I did not feel good about it last week. And so this week, my main goal was just make sure that I'm always trading with the green cloud or with the red cloud and not fighting it. And I did that well, but then what I wrote in my journal is just because the cloud is green, we can't just be like, oh, I'm taking along because the cloud is green.
Correct.
You have to have more criteria and reasoning coming from the higher time frames, from the 15-minute, whether it's the 15, 30 hour, and we have to use that criteria on what's happening on larger time frames to tell us, okay, even though the cloud is green, we should maybe be holding off for a higher quality setup, right? Because not every time the cloud is green, it's going to be a higher quality setup.
No.
I mean, look at this day on Friday.
Yeah.
Cloud is green.
Yeah.
But, you know, what's happening? We've got
The
bearish
zones.
engulfing inside of the critical level on the 15-minute.
Yes.
We retested that level. And we have to factor these other things in, right? It's not just as simple as, you know, green, long, red, short. It's not that simple. And while it's very important to obey those clouds, we have to know more criteria. So that was one of my goals, is to use the clouds on the 5-minute, but then just understand, you know, what's happening on higher time frames. So that was one. And then the next one was, if I miss a move or enter too late, I just need to be very aware that you're more subject to like over managing your trade, or like, you know, moving your stop, or you know, just wanting to hold a larger position, and based on emotions, because you're acknowledging that you've missed a move, and so subconsciously you're going to treat that trade differently than if you got in at the very beginning of the trade. If you get in at the very beginning of a shift in conditions, you're going to be sitting back, you're going to be more relaxed, because you know that you got in super early. So it's going to make you more confident in the way that you manage that trade. Versus, if you admit to yourself that you missed a move or you entered too late, that's fine, but just know that you're more subject to, you know, making emotional ways that you manage that trade.
Yes. Absolutely. I like that. I like that second one about when you enter late. In kind of over managing it. I think I did that on, what was it, Tuesday or Wednesday last week. It's, you know, it's something not a lot of people talk about, but it's so real, bro. Like, you know, you almost feel like you missed it. That almost happened to me Friday, right? Because I didn't get the GBI in the morning. So I was like, oh man, I missed it. And I'm like, dude, did you miss it though? What's the overall picture? Where is this thing headed? I'm like, dude, I was like, yeah, you're at PDL, but does that, like, a big issue that used to happen to me is I'd be like, oh, it's got to reverse. You know, I missed it, but so what? It's going to end up going back up too, or I'll just be ready for the next move, and then I train the opposite direction, get crushed, right? It's like, and that's what the 1 hour time frame has really been doing for me with the moving averages, is like, okay, are you above or below the 1 hour 9? If so, where's the next zone? Are we close to it? Are you willing to trade into that zone? When was would the last sell-off look like at that zone? Right? And then, like, that really helps me get that context there. And then it'll help me stay a little more patient. Am I going to miss trades? Absolutely. I think that's something like we need to, remind ourselves is like, dude, you're going to miss setups. Like, dude, you're not going to crack every setup, and you're not lesser of a trader because of it. If anything, in my book, you're honestly more of a trader if you allow yourself to miss something, but to gain insight for the next one. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Very true.
It's so true, dude. Like, yeah, sometimes I miss setups, and then I get in other setups and I lose money. So what? I gain massive insight. And I'm like, okay, was it worth to stay patient on that first setup? Absolutely. You know, like, just constantly reminding myself that I have nothing to prove. You know what I mean? It's just me and the market. And the market is not out to get me. It's just creating opportunity. That's all this thing does all day. All this thing does is just print opportunity. So, yeah, it's really good, Darren. I appreciate you sharing those. It's really effective. It's really important too that we hold each other accountable on that. So it's really good.
Yeah, I just know that a lot of times if you're struggling, you know, and you're trying to get back on track, get the train back on the tracks, sometimes you oversimplify things. And like in my scenario, I really didn't want to trade against the clouds, so I focused so much on the green cloud, and I lost a little bit of sight of what's happening on higher time frames.
Yes.
That's what I love about trading is, you can't just fix your problem by saying, okay, I'm only going to long a green cloud. I'm only going to short red cloud. It's not that simple. No. Even though you would love it to be that simple, it's not. Yeah. And that's just what I love. I appreciate that about trading. I appreciate that it takes so many different criteria,
Yeah.
to get that perfect trade.
Yeah.
And not that we need the perfect trade, but
Yeah.
just to be executing in the right frame of mind on all time frames.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm really excited about next week. I've got
Me
some
too.
real concrete things that I can go into next week with and I'm really excited for the market to open on
Awesome.
Monday.
Awesome. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you, everyone, for coming. It's been a great recap. Everybody, go through your journal. Remember, Steph Curry, because he will not leave practice until he's put up 10 free throws. And out of those 10, 5 need to be swishes. So think about that. This dude will not leave practice until he puts up 10 free throws in a row. Mind you, his free throw percentage is like 80-something%. I don't know. I don't watch, but I heard this the other day. So think about it. How did he get so damn good at him? Well, he won't leave practice until he's put up 10 shots in a row, and out of those 10, 5 need to be on that. So think about it. Are you putting in the proper work? Are you using on demand? Are you re-stimulating your trades? Are you taking pictures of your entries and your exits? Are you journaling? Like this is stuff that literally will make or break you. And I've been going really hard on demand lately, and it's been serving me very well. Right? Like I'm getting my entries down point. I'm getting confident with holding trades. Any trader that's struggling with holding positions, use on demand. I'm telling you, it's insane. It's insane how well it works. So
yeah, I love that feature.
it is phenomenal. It literally picks a random day from some random year where you just trade the market. You map out your pit numbers, and then you go to town. And it gets you real systematic too, right? Like I've literally been using on demand. I'll bang out 10, 15 trades a weekend. You know what I'm saying? Put in the reps, dude. Just keep putting in the reps. I love all you guys. Thank you for coming. Everyone have a great weekend. I'll see you guys Monday.
Yep. I'll see you guys next week.